Let me see them. There's a reason this has taken so long. We didn't know that I was very early in pregnancy when Cam went to Mexico for his dental tourism experience. Now she's almost 10 months old, and we're here to answer some frequently asked questions regarding that experience. Let's get started. This is a series of 3. There's part 1.
The foundation of how everything came to be.
Part 2.
Actually going to Mexico and having the dental work done.
And part 3 being...
the overview, the breakdown, whatever you want to call it.
Us talking
the final
through
words.
It. Yep. So this first section is my research and how I made the decision. So these are all of the questions pertaining to that topic. How did your teeth end up in bad shape?
Despite a lot of assumption from many people, it is not drug use. Very much just a combination of genetics and also not taking good care of my teeth throughout childhood.
Genetics, neglect.
Yep. By the time I started taking better care of my teeth, it was too late. I had several dentists that would tell me, hey, soon you're going to have a lot of crowns put in.
At that point, we were in Lodi, California. We went to a couple dentists. They gave us their estimates, and it led us financially kind of in a panic to go online and try to find another solution. And I think that's when you found Dental Departures. So Dental Departures was the company, I guess, that you utilized, or your resource to find a dentist, and ended up being Los Algodones. And on that line, why didn't you go Tijuana? Was Los Algodones just cheaper?
Tijuana was definitely up for consideration, as well as Mexicali. When I was doing research, out of the top 10, 7 of those were in Los Algodones.
I think only 1 was Tijuana.
I think I do remember Tijuana being more expensive. Los Algodones had a higher rating as well as a lower price, so it was a no-brainer for me.
What would you say were the advantages and disadvantages to booking with Dental Departures versus direct booking?
So I didn't see much of a difference as far as like perks. The discounts that you would find on Dental Departure's website, like transportation, comp for hotels, or discounts, you could often find the same or possibly even better through direct interactions with the facilities. So really the main benefit would be that you utilize their ranking system that's online, meaning you get to take into consideration their star ratings or their customer reviews. You get to see pictures of the facilities and outcomes of people's procedures online. That's not to say you can't utilize that and still just call the facility directly, because you absolutely could. But I don't know, I wanted to give them credit for the work they put into it by also utilizing their process, because it's completely free. You don't pay anything to go through them, so why not?
Right.
So they took care of the booking and the facilitation of x-rays being sent and correspondence back and forth with the dentistry. And the dentistries know them and respect their service, so it's not like some other random person just calling in, making an appointment. You've actually got that, I guess, foot in the door already.
So basically from your end, it's a no-cost way to, 1, get a great resource for a high-quality dentist, 2, have less stress with like sending x-rays and whatnot, and you don't have to pay anything.
Right.
So why
not?
Why not? Okay. Speaking of like sending over x-rays, that takes us to our second category, which is prior to leaving for Mexico. These are questions pertaining to that. So did you need to have any work done before leaving?
No, none whatsoever.
You just needed to go get x-rays done. You have to have your most recent x-rays sent over.
Yeah. I don't think that you necessarily have to have like a fresh set taken right then,
right,
but you definitely want your current problem to be included in the x-ray. But if nothing's changed since the last time you had an x-ray, they would probably be just fine with that. And frankly, they do new x-rays as soon as you get there. It's more so just to give them a starting point.
Right. So what was the sending of x-ray process?
Literally, we went to the dentistry where I'd gotten my recent x-ray done. I just asked them to email me a PDF or JPEGs of all of the x-rays that they took. So they sent it to my email, and then I just forwarded that on to Dental Departures where they could get it in the right hands at the facility and start doing the correspondence.
How long did it take for you to get an appointment from the time you called Dental Departures or from the time you started the process?
Yeah, it was the next Monday. Like we called
Thursday.
Towards the end of 1 week, and the next Monday we had an appointment.
I literally remember it being like 4 days.
I think I remember when I was on the phone with the facility too, they had appointments ready to go right then, but literally the conversation was, well, I got to travel states away, so let's make it for next week.
Yeah. Did you arrange your air travel and accommodations, or did Dental Departures?
Yeah, I arranged my own travel and my own accommodations as far as hotels, and Dental Departures just did the correspondence with the actual dentistry and setting up the appointment, sending the files and whatnot.
Next category, the dental work. Dun dun dun. What all did you have done?
Had 5 root canals and 28 crowns. So as far as crowns, that's my entire mouth. I've had wisdom teeth removed and all of that. So yeah.
Sounds like a lie. Wouldn't your U.S. dentist have told you that you needed that many root canals?
So one thing the U.S. dentist did tell me when we went in to get an assessment done is there's the possibility of root canals. It's something that when you're doing this kind of procedure, you can kind of tell on the x-ray if there's a potential for it just by seeing how close you're going to have to drill to the root of the tooth. But we never actually got into any drilling. And it's something that once they started drilling my teeth to get ready and prep for a root canal. In Mexico, we realized multiple needed it. They knew right off the bat there were going to be a couple. Again, in the new x-rays there, they showed, and I could very clearly see where there was going to be a possibility. I already knew from constant pain where I was going to have a few anyway. It was obvious that root canals were needed. So it's not something I was surprised by at all. I fully expected to have something like that be the result.
What kind of porcelain did they use for your crowns?
These are zirconia. That's it.
Well, it says you said that they offer.
Yeah, in doing the research, they did offer EMAX at that facility, but they had just recently, at the time I came there, purchased their own machines for crafting zirconia crowns. And so they were running some really good rates because they were trying to push the new zirconia crowns that, in my opinion, in the research that I did, seemed a better fit for what we were doing. So I ended up getting zirconia.
Here is your before shot.
Wow. That's disgusting.
And here's your after shot.
Ding!
All right, baby. Stop hamming it up.
All right.
Did they give you any pain meds after the procedures to take back to the U.S. with you?
All I had done was root canals and crowns, and they did treat with local anesthetic during those procedures. So after that, there was really just like soreness and swelling, and so they did give me a medicine called Loxonin that would help with the swelling, but it was just there for 3 days after treatment. And really, that was the only kind of meds that we had. It was the only kind of medicine needed, frankly. This
next category is like all about the travel. So you flew from Sacramento to Phoenix, Arizona, to Yuma, Arizona, took an Uber to the Mexican border. Then you were
walked the rest of the way.
Yeah, walked the whole time that you were there. Then when you went back, returning,
I took a taxi from the Mexico border to my hotel in Yuma.
Okay.
And then Ubered from hotel to airport.
And then flew from Yuma to Phoenix back to Sacramento, California. Why not fly directly to Mexico?
Yuma's airport is the closest airport to Los Algodones, and you can literally see the towns from one another.
It's the closest airport.
You don't have to do any kind of jumping borders while flying or any of the complications that might come with that.
Right.
So.
Do I have to know how to speak Spanish?
You do not, though that's beneficial anywhere outside of the U.S. that speaks another language. But no, everyone I encountered there either spoke very good English, or at least enough broken English to have a conversation.
Do I need a passport to go there?
You don't need a passport to go there, but you need a passport to come from there.
Right.
The U.S. is the side of the border that requires passport upon re-entry. But yeah, literally that night that I got there, 8 p.m., I walked across the border and did not see a single person. Literally just walked through an open gate.
Where did you stay and what accommodations did you have in Mexico?
So I stayed in the Hotel Los Algodones for 4 nights, and then another hotel in a place they call the Medi Plaza called Cielito Lindo for 2 nights after that.
So a total of 6 nights.
Yeah, total of 6 nights. Both of those were right there within easy walking distance, like I think 2 blocks from one another.
Right.
The whole town's within walking distance of anything you want to go see. It's not a big town at all.
Did you need transportation while you were there?
No, I did not need transportation. Everything's walking distance.
Yep.
Very easy walking distance. It's actually a pleasant walk.
This category is all about the dentist.
Yeah.
Who did you use?
I used Castle Dental.
If you go on dental departures or even Google search dentistries in Los Algodones, Sandy Dental is probably...
They're the big dog.
I mean, the big dog in town. So, why not Sandy Dental? I heard it's the best.
I don't know. In hindsight, Sandy Dental does have some awesome perks. I've heard stories about them completely comping rooms for stay, as well as paying for travel out there, depending on what it is you're coming in to have done. But for me, in this particular visit, I saw it best to go with Castle, just because I heard a lot of stories about during that particular season that I was going, them being just very, very busy, and a lot of like herding you through as cattle kind of a thing. Where not that the quality was lacking, but if you wanted a little more personal of an experience, you want to go with a smaller dentistry that's got really good ratings like Castle does. Sandy's going to get the job done. They might have some benefits. They've got good ratings, but they're just very popular, very busy, and so that was
so you wouldn't discourage anyone from going
not
there.
at all.
I mean, you don't have an experience there, but you wouldn't discourage at all. I just feel like maybe because you were traveling alone and you wanted a more personal experience.
I met plenty of Sandy patients while I was there, and I not once heard any kind of bad issues with their practice.
So who at Castle Dental was your dentist?
It was Arturo Castillo. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Arturo.
Mm-hmm.
And then another guy named Giovanni. Yeah, Giovanni did the majority of the work. Arturo, I believe, at that time, and may even still be, was more of a director role, so he did a lot of the overseeing and came in and did final checks and initial assessments as well. But those were the two that I predominantly dealt with.
Now that was at Castle Dental. He had to go across the street to get his 5 root canals.
Yeah, down the road, there's another practice by Mateo Vega. It's Vega Endodontics. That's where I had to go for the root canals because, as you can imagine, certain dentistries specialize in different portions. Castle Dental does not do root canals, so that's why we had to have the referral.
Sure.
But they were able to incorporate all that in the same price, so I wasn't paying multiple dentistries.
Was the facility and its equipment up to date?
Yes, it was very impressive and really puts our dentistries here to shame, quite honestly.
Wow. I feel like this is the category we get most questions about, and it is finances. So, let's just start out at ground zero. Ground zero is we're in California, Lodi area, Central Valley, and you need work done now. So you go and get a consultation done, not by one, but by 2 different dentists locally. Let's kind of break those 2 U.S. dentists. Let's break that down, and then we'll go into Mexico.
These are all without insurance coverage. It's all out of pocket
Yes,
pay.
this is all cash pricing.
Yeah.
For your first consultation in California, what was the cost of that visit for the consultation?
Consultation was $362.
What was the base cost of what you would need done?
Estimated for the full mouth, it would be around $30,000. But again, that was an estimate. It could have hit higher than that. He felt like he was probably lowballing it as it was, because he had not gotten in there.
So $30,000 could go up once we get in there. And take how long?
It was going to take about a month, because here the dentistries have to send back and forth with the labs that actually create the crowns. So it was going to be...
Most dentists do.
Yeah, most. It would be like top side 2 weeks, bottom side 2 weeks, ultimately being 1 month.
Sure. You went and got a second consultation done in the U.S. How much was that dentist charging you just for that consultation?
Just that one was $112, because it didn't include an x-ray that had been taken care of by the first dentist.
And the quote for all of the work that needed to be done?
For the full mouth, they were quoting $26,000 to $28,000. So a couple thousand less, but again, still
comparable.
Very much outside of the price range.
And outside of our price range, exactly. So this takes us to your dental work in Mexico. You had 5 crowns, $300 a piece. So that was $1,500. You had 28
which
crowns.
Worth mentioning, $1,500 is probably what you would expect to pay in some places in America for one.
I would say.
I wouldn't say always, but I mean you're getting in that realm for sure.
28 crowns, also $300 a piece. So that came out to be
$8,400.
$9,900 US dollars total.
So we ended up cutting the expense to a third of what the quote was, pretty much.
Way to go.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, and then we also get questions regarding how much were flights, which this all depends on where you're at and where you're going. But
and the time of the year.
I mean, how much are flights? How much were accommodations? Just because you didn't get those comped. So let's go into that. He flew American Airlines, and total round trip was $520. Right around there.
Yeah.
And your trip, you got 2 Ubers, which totaled about $45.
Roughly,
That's including tip. 1 taxi, around $20. And then your hotels, which I think you stayed in 2 hotels in Mexico, which totaled
about $320.
$320. 1 hotel in Arizona the night before you caught your flight back to Sacramento.
The hotel coming back into the States was the most expensive one.
That was about $100.
And it was just a Bay Mont Inn.
So, total, get out your calculator because I haven't figured this one out. So $11,000, flights, transportation, accommodation, and dental work, all of that included, and that is fraction of a cost of just the procedures in the U.S. So for us, it paid off. Yeah.
Big time. Big time.
Who did you pay? The dentist or Dental Departures?
Paid the dentist. I paid when I got there. No money was exchanged until we got there at the facility and started the appointment.
Did you have to pay in full up front? Good question.
Very good question. They would probably like that, ideally, but they actually allowed us to pay half up front and then half after.
Do you have to exchange money, or do they take U.S. dollars?
Yeah, you can use U.S. dollars anywhere, and from what I saw, they predominantly dealt in U.S. dollars as well.
Does it have to be paid in cash or debit, or can a credit card be used?
It's good to have some cash with you, just because it is another country. You might have some smaller businesses that don't have the ability to take cards, but as far as the dentistries that I had experience with, they would absolutely take cards. But again, just keep in mind, cash is going to be an easy, straightforward exchange. Cheapest exchange. Cards will have a fee. The fee at that time was a 3.5% addition to that transaction. And also keep in mind too, some banks, ours didn't have this problem, but some banks will also tack on a fee for any kind of exchange, withdrawal from ATMs, or card transactions in other countries. So always check that before you go to make sure you're not getting their fee on their side plus your bank's fee as well.
So on to our last category. Today, a year and a half later, right? Did you, before any work was done, have any problems with the way that your jaw lined up?
No, did not have any problems with that at all.
And after the procedure?
After the procedure, there was a little bit of adjusting that had to be done, not by the dentistry, but my bite was landing a little differently just because, I mean, it's a whole mouth of new teeth that my body had to adapt with how that bite needs to land. So yeah, about 2 weeks in, that bite started feeling normal again.
And now it feels completely
yeah, now
normal.
it's completely second nature.
Have you had any complications since the work?
Other than about a 2-week period of hot and cold sensitivity and some minor swelling, no, there hasn't been any kind of complications. I did have a lot of issue with grinding my teeth prior to this procedure, and that is something that has changed, where now after the procedure I find I'm clenching my teeth a lot more. I think that has gone along with trying to like find the bite, but that clenching of my teeth has brought about a lot of like upper jaw and cheek pain that was not there before. But again,
that's not constant.
That's not constant, and it's not something that I would attribute to
the procedure.
Their work. It's more so my newly formed habit of clenching my teeth rather than grinding my teeth.
Which they did give him, because they knew that grinding would be an issue. He does have a guard that he is to wear at night to help that, because at night you do kind of, I catch him clenching. So any discomfort or anything that he has had has been solely on that, and it's so temporary. It's when he's clenching or has been clenching.
Yeah, I know when I've had a bad day where I've clenched a lot, because those are the days that it hurts.
Yeah. Have you gone to a U.S. dentist to specifically critique the work and the procedures that have been done?
I have not.
Nope. And knowing all of this, like the whole picture, would you do it again?
Absolutely. I mean, we are just a year and a half in, but I have nothing but success to show for it as far as the outcome. And so I fully would encourage anyone else to go. I've encouraged other people we know that have any kind of dental struggles to look into that if it's going to be too expensive here. And I would fully intend on going back if I ever had any future problems.
Did they offer you any type of guarantee for the work that's been done?
So they did offer, I believe it was 5 years of a guarantee. The condition being that you have to show proof that you've gone to routine cleanings every 6 months, which is understandable, showing that you're maintaining the teeth. That's not necessarily a money back guarantee. It's a we will fix it if there's an issue guarantee. If a crown just falls out for no reason.
We hope that this was helpful.
We would love to encourage anyone else that's looking into it, needs any help, please reach out. We'd love to assist.
And for those of you who have watched the videos and have gone and come back, please tell us your experience, because I know that there's been a lot of you who have said, oh, because of you I'm going to go there or whatnot. We would love to hear how it was for you, and if you decided to use dental departures or what dentistry you chose. We would love to hear from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.